The Galactic Council gathered in their grand chamber, a vast hall filled with alien beings from many different worlds. Each species had its unique traits, some towering and muscular, others small and quick. The room buzzed with chatter as representatives discussed important matters of the universe. At the center of the hall stood a massive holographic display showing Earth's ship, the Resolute. The ship was sleek but small compared to the warships of the Council, which were designed for strength and intimidation. Captain Ilara, a determined human pilot, stood at the front of the Resolute. She had gathered her crew for an important meeting. They all knew they were about to present their ship to the Council, but the crew felt nervous. They had worked hard on the Resolute, believing it had great potential. However, they also knew that many aliens thought of Earth as weak and its technology as outdated. As the meeting began, a loud and booming voice echoed through the chamber. It belonged to Zarnok, a large blue-skinned alien known for his harsh opinions. "Look at that tiny ship!" he bellowed, pointing at the hologram. "Earth thinks it can compete with our mighty fleets? How ridiculous!" Laughter erupted throughout the chamber. Ilara's heart sank as she watched her crew's faces fall. They had put their hearts into building the Resolute. The ship represented humanity's progress, and yet here they were, the subject of mockery. "Do they even have weapons on that toy?" Another alien sneered. This one was green and had long, thin limbs. Ilara could feel her cheeks flush with embarrassment and anger. She knew the Resolute was not just any ship. It had advanced technology and an experimental teleportation device that could change everything. As the laughter continued, Ilara took a deep breath. She knew she had to remain calm and confident. "We may be smaller," she spoke, her voice steady but firm, "but the Resolute is equipped with technology that you have never seen before. We are capable of surprising you." The Council's laughter died down a bit, but skepticism lingered in the air. Ilara's determination only grew stronger. She believed in her ship and her crew. They had trained hard, and now it was time to show the Council what they could do. But before she could continue, Zarnok interrupted. "Surprise us? With that little toy? You should be ashamed to even show your face here." His words struck like a dagger, and Ilara could see her crew shift uncomfortably. This was not how she wanted the meeting to go. Frustrated but determined, Ilara knew they had to take action. She turned to her crew, who were now looking at her with a mix of hope and despair. "We will show them what we can do," she said firmly. "I want everyone to prepare for a demonstration of our capabilities. We may be seen as weak, but we will prove them wrong." With that, the crew sprang into action. They raced to their stations, eager to prepare for the upcoming mission. Ilara felt a surge of pride as she watched them work together, focused and determined. This was a team that would not back down from a challenge. As the Resolute prepared for takeoff, Ilara reflected on how she would turn the Council's mockery into motivation. They would not just be a small ship, they would be a force to be reckoned with. The aliens had underestimated them, and now they would see what humanity was capable of. As the ship lifted off from the launch pad, Ilara felt a mixture of excitement and fear. She was leading her crew into the unknown, but she was ready to face whatever came next. They would show the Galactic Council that Earth was not weak. It was strong, clever, and ready to stand tall in the face of adversity. With a determined heart, Ilara set the Resolute on its course, ready to take on the galaxy and the challenges that awaited them. The mockery would soon turn to respect, and the humans would rise to prove their worth. The Resolute soared through the vastness of space, its sleek hull glimmering against the backdrop of stars. Captain Ilara stood at the helm, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. After the mockery from the Galactic Council, she felt a fire within her. She knew they had to show the universe that humans were not to be underestimated. As the crew worked diligently, the ship's sensors picked up an urgent signal. The display flickered to life, revealing a distress message from a nearby planet called Zelthar. The planet was home to an alien race that had long been allies of Earth. Ilara's heart sank as she read the message. "This is Zelthar Prime. We are under attack by the Galactic Council. They seek to take our resources by force." The voice on the screen trembled with fear. Ilara's hands tightened around the controls. The Council was not just ridiculing them. They were launching an invasion. "Helmsman, set a course for Zelthar," Ilara commanded, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. "We need to help our allies. Prepare the teleportation device for immediate use." The crew sprang into action, their earlier embarrassment replaced with a strong sense of purpose. As the Resolute approached Zelthar, Ilara and her team could see the chaos unfolding below. Alien ships were firing upon the planet's defenses, and plumes of smoke rose from the surface. The sight made Ilara's heart ache. She felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. She could not let their allies down. "Captain, we're detecting a large fleet approaching," reported Rena, the ship's tactical officer. Her fingers danced over the controls as she studied the scanners. "It looks like the Council sent their full force. We're outnumbered." Ilara nodded, but she refused to let fear take over. "We can't back down now. We'll use the teleportation device to get inside their fleet and take them by surprise. Rena, I need you to track their movements. We'll find the best spot to teleport in." As Rena worked, Ilara gathered her crew around her. "Listen up. This mission is crucial. We are here to protect our friends and show the Council what humanity can do. We might be small, but we are fierce. We'll outsmart them!" The crew cheered, their spirits lifted by Ilara's words. She could see the determination in their eyes, and it filled her with hope. They were ready to fight. Moments later, the Resolute entered the Zelthar system, and the crew quickly prepared for the teleportation. Ilara felt the tension in the air. "Everyone, stay focused. Once we teleport, we'll have only a few moments to act before they realize we're there." With a deep breath, Ilara gave the order. "Engage the teleportation device!" The world around them shimmered, and in an instant they were inside the enemy fleet. The Resolute appeared amidst the chaos of alien ships, caught off guard by the sudden presence of the human vessel. Ilara's heart raced as she quickly assessed the situation. "Now!" she shouted. "Let's show them what we're made of." The crew sprang into action, firing the ship's weapons at the nearest alien ship. Blasts of energy lit up the dark space, and Ilara felt a thrill of adrenaline rush through her. The Resolute was fighting back, and it was exhilarating. As they engaged in battle, Ilara realized they were not just fighting for Zelthar, they were fighting for their own place in the galaxy. Each shot fired, each maneuver made, was a step toward earning the respect of the Council. But just as victory seemed possible, a warning alarm blared throughout the ship. "Captain, we have incoming fire!" Rena shouted, her voice urgent. Ilara's heart dropped. They had to protect the ship and each other. "Evasive maneuvers! Get us out of the line of fire!" Ilara commanded, gripping the controls tightly. The crew worked in perfect harmony, responding to her every order with precision. As the battle raged on, Ilara knew they were in for the fight of their lives. But she also knew they had something the Council did not expect, the spirit of humanity. With determination in her heart, she prepared for whatever came next. The mission was just beginning, and they would not back down. The Resolute shook as the first enemy blast hit the ship. Alarms blared and lights flashed red, but Captain Ilara remained calm. "Status report!" she shouted over the noise. Her crew was quick to respond, their training kicking in under pressure. "Shields at 75%, Rena, the tactical officer, yelled. "We can take another hit, but we need to find cover." Ilara's mind raced. They had come to Zelthar to help, and now they were in the thick of a fierce battle. Divert power from non-essential systems to shields. "We have to hold out until we can launch our next attack," she ordered. "Helmsman, keep us moving! Don't let them get a lock on us." As the Resolute danced through the chaos, Ilara could see enemy ships all around. They were massive, menacing vessels of the Galactic Council, armed with powerful weapons. But the crew of the Resolute was not backing down. They had a plan, and they would make it work. "Captain, we've located their flagship," Rena said, her eyes wide with excitement. "It's heavily armed, but also the key to breaking their formation. If we can take it down, the rest of the fleet will be vulnerable." Ilara felt a surge of hope. "All right, we're going for it. Prepare the teleportation device for a second use. We'll teleport directly onto their flagship." Rena nodded, fingers flying over her controls. "Ready on your mark, Captain." The Resolute hurtled toward the flagship, dodging enemy fire. Ilara's heart pounded in her chest as she focused on the target. "Steady, steady," she murmured, willing her crew to remain calm. "Now, engage the teleportation device," Ilara commanded. With a flash of light, the crew found themselves standing on the deck of the enemy flagship. It was massive and filled with alien soldiers, all taken by surprise. Ilara's crew quickly formed a defensive line, weapons drawn and ready. "Go, go, go!" Ilara shouted. The crew surged forward, moving with purpose. They had trained for this moment, and now it was time to show the Council that humans could fight. The aliens quickly reacted. but Alara and her crew were prepared. They used their environment to their advantage, ducking behind large control panels and taking shots at the alien soldiers. The atmosphere was thick with tension as blasts of energy filled the air. "Flank them from the left," Alara yelled, pointing to a group of soldiers who were caught off guard. Her crew obeyed without hesitation, rushing in and overwhelming the aliens. Just as they were gaining ground, a larger alien commander appeared. He was tall and intimidating, with sharp claws and a fierce look in his eyes. "Foolish humans!" he bellowed. "You think you can defeat us? You will regret this." Alara felt fear grip her heart, but she pushed it aside. "We'll show you what humans can do," she shouted back, determination fueling her voice. The battle intensified. Alara charged forward, dodging blasts and returning fire. She could see her crew working together, moving like a well-oiled machine. Each member played a crucial role, and they were making progress. As the fighting continued, Alara spotted the control center of the flagship. "We need to take out their communications. If we can cut them off from the rest of the fleet, we can turn the tide," she shouted to Rena. "On it!" Rena replied, leading a small group toward the control center. The commander, sensing the danger, swung his attention to Alara. "You will not take this ship." He lunged at her, claws outstretched. Alara barely managed to dodge him, but she felt the rush of air as his claws missed her by inches. "Keep moving!" she shouted to her crew. "We're almost there." With fierce determination, Alara and her team pushed through. They reached the control center, and Rena quickly set to work on disabling the communication systems. "I need a few more seconds," she called out. As they defended their position, Alara felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. They were deep within enemy territory, fighting against overwhelming odds. But together they could accomplish anything. Finally, Rena shouted, "Done! They're cut off!" The moment the words left her lips, the flagship shook violently. The crew of the Resolute had made their mark, and the battle was far from over. Alara looked around at her crew, their faces filled with determination. This was their fight, and they were not backing down. They were here to show the Galactic Council the strength of humanity. The Resolute trembled as Alara and her crew battled inside the enemy flagship. After cutting off the communications, they had gained a crucial advantage. The alien soldiers were now confused, struggling to coordinate their defenses. Alara knew they had to act fast. "Rena, how many enemy soldiers are left?" Alara asked, glancing around the chaotic control room. "Looks like we've taken down about half, but they're regrouping." "We need to push our advantage now," Rena replied, her eyes darting to the control panels. Alara nodded, her heart racing. "All right, let's move. We need to take control of this ship and use it against the rest of the fleet." With renewed determination, the crew charged forward, pushing deeper into the flagship. Alara led the way, her pulse pounding in her ears. They moved as a tight unit, each member watching the other's backs. The echoes of distant blasts filled the air, a reminder that the battle was far from over. As they advanced, they came across a group of Zeltharian soldiers hiding in a corner, looking scared and lost. Alara recognized their uniform from the briefings she had studied. "Hey, we're here to help!" she called out, raising her hands to show she meant no harm. One of the Zeltharian soldiers stepped forward, his eyes wide with surprise. "You're humans?" he stammered. "We thought you were defeated." "No!" Alara replied, determination filling her voice. "We've come to save you and your planet. The Galactic Council is attacking, and we need your help. Together, we can take back the flagship and turn the tide of this battle." The Zeltharians exchanged glances, their fear slowly giving way to hope. "If you fight with us, we will stand alongside you," the Zeltharian leader said, his voice steady. "We know this ship well. We can help you navigate it." "Perfect," Alara said, a smile spreading across her face. "Let's unite our forces and push them back." With their new allies at their side, the crew of the Resolute moved as one. The Zeltharian soldiers showed the humans the layout of the flagship and shared strategies for taking down the remaining enemy forces. Alara felt a wave of pride wash over her as she saw the two groups working together. They fought fiercely, pushing through the halls of the flagship, overcoming obstacles and eliminating enemy soldiers. Alara felt a sense of exhilaration as the tides began to turn. Every victory brought them closer to regaining control of the ship. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the ship. "Captain, they're preparing to self-destruct the flagship," Rena shouted, panic in her voice. "If we don't stop them, it'll blow." "Where's the self-destruct mechanism?" Alara asked, her mind racing. "On the lower deck. We need to get there now." Rena replied, urgency in her tone. Then let's move. We can't let this ship explode, Elara commanded. The crew and their Zeltharian allies raced toward the lower deck, adrenaline coursing through their veins. As they reached the stairs leading down, they encountered a heavy barricade of alien soldiers guarding the self-destruct mechanism. The crew took cover and prepared for a fight. Get ready, Elara shouted, her heart pounding. On my mark, we charge. With a deep breath, she counted down. 3, 2, 1, now. They burst into the room, firing their weapons at the surprised aliens. The battle was fierce, and Elara fought hard alongside her new allies. She could see the Zeltharian soldiers moving with precision, their skills complementing her crew's training. Finally, after a brutal struggle, they overcame the last of the defenders. Breathing heavily, Elara rushed to the self-destruct console. Rena, how do we stop it? Rena quickly assessed the controls, her fingers flying over the buttons. I need a few moments to disable it. Cover me! Elara nodded and turned, keeping an eye on the door. They had to hold off any remaining enemies while Rena worked. The minutes felt like hours as they stood guard, sweat trickling down their brows. Finally, Rena shouted, Got it! The self-destruct sequence is disabled! A wave of relief washed over Elara. Great work, Rena. Now let's secure this ship and prepare to take back our planet. The crew cheered, and the Zeltharian soldiers joined in, their spirits lifted. They had come together as allies, fighting side by side against a common enemy. Elara looked around at her crew and their new friends, filled with pride. This was not just a fight for Zelthar, it was a fight for unity, for showing the Galactic Council that they could not dismiss humanity or their allies. Together they would reclaim their power and stand strong against any threat. The Resolute floated steadily above the planet Zelthar, its crew brimming with excitement and pride. They had taken control of the enemy flagship, and now they were ready to lead a united front against the Galactic Council. Captain Elara stood on the bridge, gazing at the view below. Zelthar's blue and green landscapes were vibrant, a stark contrast to the chaos of the battle they had just endured. Captain, our allies are ready for the next step, Rena reported, her voice firm with determination. The Zeltharian forces are prepared to join us in the fight against the rest of the fleet. Elara nodded, her heart racing. Good. We need to strike while the Council is still disoriented. We've shown them that we can stand up to their might, but we need to show them that we will not be defeated. Captain, a voice called from behind. It was the Zeltharian leader, a tall soldier with bright blue skin and fierce determination in his eyes. We have a plan to attack their main base. Together, we can destroy their command and bring peace back to our worlds. Elara turned to him, feeling a sense of camaraderie. Tell me what you have in mind. The Zeltharian leader explained the details of their plan. They would use the Resolute and the flagship to draw the enemy's attention, while a group of Zeltharian fighters would flank them. We have a window of opportunity now that they are confused and their communications are down, he said. This is our chance to strike hard. With the plan set, Elara gathered her crew and the Zeltharian soldiers in the hangar bay. Listen up, everyone! We've fought hard to get to this point, and now it's time to finish what we started. We will show the Galactic Council that they cannot underestimate us. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every planet they threaten. Cheers erupted from the group, each voice filled with determination. Elara could feel the unity among them. They were no longer just humans and Zeltharians. They were a united force ready to reclaim their future. As they prepared for takeoff, Elara felt a mix of excitement and fear. This mission was risky, but it was necessary. They had to prove their strength, and she would do everything she could to protect her crew and their new allies. The ships launched into the sky, heading toward the enemy fleet. As they approached, the massive Galactic Council ships loomed before them, their dark forms a reminder of the battles that had come before. Elara's heart raced as she took command of the Resolute. Prepare for engagement, she called. The crew worked efficiently, checking their weapons and systems. Rena stood at her side, focused and ready. Captain, the enemy is hailing us, Rena announced, her eyes wide. They want to know why we're here. Elara exchanged a glance with the Zeltharian leader. Put them through, she commanded. A holographic image of an alien commander appeared on the screen. His face twisted in disbelief. Humans! You dare to challenge the Galactic Council after what you've done? Elara stood tall, her voice firm. We are here to reclaim our rights and protect our worlds. We will not be cowed by your threats any longer. The commander sneered. You think you can defeat us? You are outnumbered! Elara smiled, a sense of confidence flooding through her. We are not alone. We stand united and together we are strong. Prepare to face the consequences of your arrogance. With a swift command, Elara ordered the attack. The Resolute and the Zeltharian fighters surged forward, unleashing a barrage of firepower on the enemy fleet. Explosions lit up the space around them as their combined forces struck true. The battle raged, but this time it was different. The Galactic Council ships struggled to respond. The humans and Zeltharians worked in perfect harmony, coordinating their strikes with precision. Elara could see the tide turning in their favor. As the enemy flagship began to falter, Elara knew they were close to victory. Push forward! We can break their lines! She shouted, her voice ringing with hope. With one final push, they targeted the main command ship of the Galactic Council. Energy surged through the Resolute as they unleashed their firepower. The ship shook violently, but Elara held her ground, focused on the prize. Finally, with a tremendous explosion, the Council's flagship erupted into a fireball, signaling their defeat. Cheers erupted from the crew and their allies as the remaining enemy ships began to retreat. We did it! Rena exclaimed, her face glowing with excitement. Elara took a moment to breathe, looking around at her crew and their new friends. This was more than just a victory, it was the start of a new era. They had shown the Galactic Council that they would no longer be bullied. Together, they had forged a powerful alliance that would protect their worlds from future threats. As they returned to Zelthar, Elara felt a sense of hope and unity. The battle had changed everything. The humans and Zeltharians had come together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would ensure that peace would reign in the galaxy, united as one.